Do you know who has scored the most number of runs in T20 internationals ever? Maybe Virat, you would think, Rohit. It's actually Martin Guptill, believe it or not. Well, they say that the T20 format of cricket is made for the batsmen. Batsmen get so many opportunities to create amazing winning positions for their teams and really butcher the bowling. In today's video, we're going to find out who the best active T20 international batsman is. We're going to evaluate 4 players, David Warner, Virat Kohli, Rohit Sharma and Babar Azam, and look at various parameters and stats and see who the best batsman is. Before we move forward, I want to make an honorary mention to Martin Guptill, who has scored around 3,500 runs in T20 international format. This is the highest number of runs anyone has scored in this format. We are going to look at 5 evaluation parameters and give a maximum of 10 points to each of this parameter and then look at a total score. So these parameters are, number 1, of course, total number of runs in T20 international cricket format. Number 2, the batting average. Number 3, of course, strike rate, how fast you score. Number 4, average number of boundaries per innings. Now this average is a combination of 4s and 6s of what the total numbers are per innings. And number 5, style of play. This is a little bit of a qualitative analysis and my judgment call on how I think the players play. So these will be the 5 parameters. So let's start with David Warner, the Australian. Of course, David Warner plays for Australia and was the former vice captain of the team. In fact, believe it or not, Warner was the only cricketer in the 132-year history of Australian cricket to be selected in the national team without any experience in first-class cricket. It's just amazing statistic. Anyway, the first parameter for Warner is total number of runs. Warner in T20 International has scored 2,684 runs. With the maximum runs around 3,500, I would say a 2,700 or so would give him 8 points out of 10. The second parameter is batting average. Warner has an average of 33.5, giving him another kind of 8 points out of 10 for average. The third parameter is a strike rate. Warner really scores his runs fast. Going at the top of the order, he scores briskly and his strike rate is over 140. There I will give him all 10 out of 10 points on strike rate. Number 4 is boundaries per innings. So Warner typically scores over 4 boundaries, just over 4 boundaries between 4s and 6s every innings, giving him 8 out of 10 points. And lastly, the 5th parameter is style of play. Well, Warner has a very attacking style of play. He starts the innings up top, he tries to play long innings, he can also build the innings in the middle overs. The only criticism here is that he might struggle a little bit as a finisher. So I would still give him 8 points here. So the total that Warner gets is 42 out of 50 points, a very strong 42. The second player we evaluate is Rohit Sharma. Rohit Sharma is of course the current captain of the Indian team. He's going to lead the team to hopefully a victory in the World Cup this year. He's a right-handed batsman who has amazing flair. Now looking at his parameters, number 1, total number of runs. His total number of runs are just a little less than 3,500. I would say that's pretty much close to the most runs anyone has ever scored. So I would give him 10 points there. So 10 out of 10 in terms of number of runs. Number 2 is batting average. His batting average is around 32, little over 32. There I would give him 8 out of 10 points. Number 3 is strike rate. Strike rate for Rohit is around 140, which is again one of the best in the business when it comes to T20 cricket, similar to that of David Warner. Here he will get again 10 out of 10. The next parameter is boundaries per inning. I was a little surprised when we were doing this research is Rohit's boundaries per innings is actually less than 4. So he scores around 3.83 boundaries every innings. Little disappointed here, so I'll give him a 7 out of 10. And finally, his style of play. I mean, what can we say about Rohit Sharma? He starts the innings up top. He can attack, he can defend, he can play with flair, he can build an innings, he plays spin well, he plays pace well, he pulls well, he cuts well. I mean, he's almost a perfect player. I would give him a 9 out of 10. Only because we haven't really seen him too much finish the innings. It's not his fault, but yes, 9 on 10. So a total of 44 for Rohit Sharma out of 50. Definitely better than Warner. Number 3, we evaluate Virat Kohli. Now, of course, some of you might say, why the hell is Virat in this list? Yes, he had a bad run of form, but at the end of the day, if you look at the greatest T20 international batsman ever, I mean, Virat has to be in the list. He might even win this, right? So let's evaluate his numbers and see where he stands. The first parameter is total number of runs. Virat has scored over 3,000 runs, 3,308 runs to be precise. Again, this is very close to the top scores ever, top number of runs ever by anybody. So he will get a 10-pointer here. Number 2 is his batting average. You will be shocked to hear that Virat averages over 50. Yes, over 50 in T20 internationals. That's actually more than his test cricket average. So of course, by far, 10 points. Take my points here. Number 3 is his strike rate. His strike rate is just a little less than 140. It's around 138. Here he'll get a little less. I'll dock 1 point here just because 140 is kind of this barrier threshold that some of the greats have crossed. So I'll give 9 points here to Virat out of 10. The next parameter is boundaries per innings. Virat scores over 4.3 boundaries every innings. Now, of course, considering that he comes potentially 1 down or sometimes 2 down, he has to build the innings and score a lot of fours. So that's actually a very healthy average. I'll give him 9 points there. And the last parameter is style of play. I love how Virat builds an innings. He runs hard, he maximizes the runs, minimizes the dots, he can finish strong. I mean, at the end of the day, if he's playing fluently, it's the best batting you will ever see. It is so beautiful to watch. Now, of course, he's not a very, very big hitter, and there I will dock a few points because sometimes he has to finish the games and he might not be the best person to finish a game. So I'll give him 8 points. So believe it or not, guys, we were all doubting whether Virat should be on this list, but this gives him 46 points out of 50 and makes him at the top right now. And the last player we evaluate is the player from Pakistan, Babar Azam. A lot of people say that he's probably the most complete player across all formats right now. But today we are only evaluating his current stats in T20 international cricket. So the first parameter is the total number of runs. His total number of runs in T20 Is are 2,686. That's lower than most of the others we have discussed. Of course, he has the longest career ahead of him, so there's a little bit of asterisk here. But in the current status, we will give him 8 out of 10 points. Number 2 parameter is his batting average. He averages over 45 runs every game. That's a phenomenal average. I would have given this 10 out of 10 had it not been for Virat who was scoring over 50. So Babar gets 9 out of 10 only because Virat's just been playing phenomenally. Number 3 is strike rate. Now Babar is typically a batsman who builds an innings. He has his flair, but he doesn't hit the big shots. So his strike rate is low. It does well for the team. It does well for the task that he has for the team. But he scores a little less than 130 strike rate. So here I will have to dock some points and give him 7 out of 10. The next parameter is boundaries per innings. Babar actually has the maximum number of average for boundaries per innings. It's 4.63 boundaries every innings. So here he gets all 10 points. He's the best out of the lot. And finally, the style of play. Babar loves to build an innings. He's so beautiful to watch. He's a rock in the middle order. He can play really innovative shots. He can help others build innings. And the way Pakistan batting is lined up in T20s, he really lays the foundation for the finishers. I will give him 9 points on his style of play. So all in all, he gets 43 out of 50. Of course, keeping in mind that he has a very long career ahead of him, there's a very high chance that he might beat some of the others in this list when it comes to statistics. It's yet to be seen whether he'll be the GOAT in this format, but only time will tell. All in all, from the list we have Virat Kohli having the maximum number of points in internationals. And for all you who are doubters of Virat and who are doubting whether he'll play the T20 International World Cup, guys, he deserves to play. He deserves to lead the country. He might not be the captain, but he's definitely a leader for us. Give him another shot, back him up. Maybe he will do wonders again. Virat Kohli, the greatest current batsman in T20 International based on my assessment. So guys, if you loved this video, consider subscribing to my channel. If you enjoyed it, I will settle for a like. For all kinds of content on sports, on Indian sports, or on the business side of Indian sports, consider subscribing my page. Ciao.